I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. Every minute I spent with him, I regret, and I, apologize that I did that.
I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time. I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
So you're sitting down there having cocktails while Bill Clinton's getting a massage from some girl who's rubbing her tits against the back of his head, whether knowingly or unknowingly having sex with underage girls.
Everybody wants to be.
Maybe some guys, that was their thing.
Sure.
Does it seem like with Epstein, that was his thing?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan recently surprised listeners by openly admitting that some of his close friends were named in the Epstein files. This happened after the U.S. Department of Justice released a huge new batch of records connected to Jeffrey Epstein. These files are starting to expose links between Epstein and some of the most powerful people in the world. Today, we are breaking down who appears in these documents and why it matters.
It's so tangled. The whole thing is just, I think everybody who looks at it realizes this is a rabbit hole that just goes to the center of the earth. And there's so many people involved in that. Here's the big question that people ask. If there was a Jeffrey Epstein, and it seems like all these things he was involved in, is there a Jeffrey Epstein right now that we don't know about?
There's a million of them.
A million of them.
I mean, this is why I find this. This is not the core of what I focus on, but I find it a really interesting field of study because it helps understand so many other U.S. government institutions and the relationship between government and private business. Jeffrey Epstein is part of a class of what are effectively professional fixers. And this is a kind of class of professional who sits not really within a particular government or private sector institution, but in the kind of sticky layer between them that connects them all.
Just days ago, the Department of Justice made public more than 3 million pages of records, along with about 2,000 videos and nearly 180,000 images tied to Epstein-related investigations. Many of these materials were heavily censored. Still, even with names blocked out and faces blurred, a clear pattern appears. Political leaders, billionaires, corporate executives, and even members of the British royal family show up repeatedly in connection to Epstein, including after his arrest. These were not casual encounters. The evidence includes flight records, internal emails, contact lists, sworn statements, and video footage showing the same powerful figures appearing around Epstein year after year.
You're telling me there's a place where they bring elites to compromise them with underage girls and they film them? Really? Like, what? Cut the f*** out of here.
Yeah.
Like, no, President Clinton's been there. Everyone's been there. Like, what? It sounds like nonsense. And not only is it true, but people keep getting f***ing for it. Did you see that latest Clinton advisor that got murdered?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hung with an extension cord, himself in the chest, 30 miles from his house, and they're calling it a...
And now even Elon Musk is asking, where's the clientele list?
Yeah.
We should probably see who's been to that island.
Yeah, we should probably see who's been to that island.
What makes this even more disturbing is that Joe Rogan says he heard warnings about Epstein's island long before the public knew anything. According to Rogan, Alex Jones had been warning him for decades that something dark was happening there. Jones claimed the island was not just a luxury getaway for the rich, but a place where powerful people were being trapped through compromising situations. At the time, Joe dismissed it as exaggerated and unbelievable. Looking back now, he says that reaction is what makes the situation so disturbing today.
The guy who told me about Epstein's Island more than a decade ago, and I thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever heard. I was like, what are you saying? There's an island, like it sounds like a plot in a movie. There's an island where they fly famous rich scientists and politicians and they compromise them with underage girls and get it on film so they could use it against them. I'm like, what? That sounds like lizard people. It sounds like, 5G creates COVID. Same thing.
Yeah.
But turns out it was true. And it's one of many things. He was the first one to warn me about a social credit score system. He's like, they're going to try to implement a social credit score system, and your money is going to be tied. They'll have centralized digital currency, and your money will be tied to your social credit score system, and you step out of line, you won't be able to buy things. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to do anything. They're going to try to keep you within a 15-minute radius of your home, and they're starting to do that in places.
With the latest document release, pieces that once seemed unrelated are starting to connect. What is especially shocking is how many of these names appeared years ago but were quickly ignored. The media often brushed them off as coincidences or rumors. Now those same names are showing up again, supported by timelines, repeated communication, and direct involvement with Epstein's network.
The chairman of a prominent law firm is stepping down over his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Paul Weiss law chair Brad Karp says in a statement, quote, "Recent reporting has created a distraction and has placed a focus on me that's not in the best interest of the firm." The firm says Karp will remain with the firm, just in a different role. Senior Washington reporter Will Staken is here for more. Hi, Will. So what's the latest on this growing list of prominent people facing scrutiny over the Epstein files?
Yeah, Diane, well I think, Mr. Karp right here is kind of the latest fallout from these Epstein files. Like you said, the really powerful law firm Paul Weiss announced that Mr. Karp would be stepping down after his name appeared in these files. Now, the law firm did not give a reason why Mr. Karp is stepping down, and previously the law firm denied Mr. Karp had any wrongdoing, but with this release of these files, his name appears in the files, mostly with his assistant trying to schedule meetings with Mr. Epstein. But there's an email between Mr. Karp and Epstein where he's asking about if he could help, get his son some kind of job in an upcoming Woody Allen film. So I think these emails, obviously are continuing to fall out across, widespread industries. It's kind of the latest fallout here. We saw recently that popular wellness influencer Peta Attia also stepped down from his role at the protein company David.
One of the most controversial names in the files is Bill Gates. The documents include a photo of Gates with a woman whose face has been blurred out. There are also emails between Gates and Epstein that allegedly discuss Gates trying to hide a sexually transmitted infection from his wife after encounters involving young Russian women. After these emails became public, Gates strongly denied the claims, calling them ridiculous and false. He said Epstein was trying to damage his reputation and pointed to a 2013 email where Epstein allegedly falsely accused him of trying to give antibiotics to Melinda Gates.
Listen to Melinda Gates, the former wife of Bill Gates, talking about all of this.
Whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need the answer to those things, not me. And I am so happy to be away from all the muck that was there.
She's happy she's no longer married to Bill Gates. She's happy to be away from the muck, as she put it. And we've just seen this interview with Bill Gates on Channel 9.
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
There we go. I never met any women. Wow, this is getting curiouser and curiouser, Esther.
Yes, it is. And unfortunately for Bill Gates, now he has to probably deal with the insinuation, at least for many people, that Melinda chose to divorce him and get herself out of that world. Also because of his association or his tenuous links, which he denies, with Jeffrey Epstein. The allegation that he presumably got an STD from a Russian prostitute that was associated with Jeffrey Epstein was actually written in a note by Jeffrey Epstein to himself.
This situation also had a deeply personal impact on Gates's marriage. Melinda Gates has openly said that Epstein played a role in her decision to leave. In several interviews, she explained that learning about Bill's continued association with Epstein after his conviction raised serious concerns and caused emotional pain long before their divorce became public.
Also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So You know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.